Let's go through question 1. Here we go. This first question is sent by @VTimDuncan. Their question is, Keldon chance at starting again? So basically, does Keldon Johnson have a good chance at starting again? As I discussed in a lineups episode, and also as I've written before in the Spot Up Shot newsletter, I do think that the Spurs' starting lineup is set, but again, things could change. So I think that it's the starting lineup that's been mentioned before by different other media outlets as well, which is Chris Paul at the 1, Devin Vassell at the 2, Harrison Barnes at the 3, Jeremy Sohan at the 4, and then Victor Wembanyama at the 5. So again, right now, I think a lot of people are expecting that's going to be the starting 5, but I do think there's an opening for Keldon Johnson to join the starting lineup. And I think it really comes down to is the question of how much did he improve his outside shooting over the offseason? If he comes in and he's closer to that 40%, a player that teams don't want to leave open early on, I think he has a chance, because that's one of the things, that's one of the areas that he's going to have to be ready to shoot when the ball's not in his hands, because we know that if he's starting, he's going to be alongside Chris Paul, who's kind of handling the ball and running pick and roll with Victor. Victor's definitely going to get his possessions to create for himself and others. Devin Vassell will get pick and roll opportunities. He'll get screen actions, those kind of things. And then basically, if you're like Jeremy Sohan or Harrison Barnes, you're out there mainly trying to. Well, in the case of Barnes, he's out there to try to spread the floor. Sohan's more so kind of hanging around the dunker spot, maybe just moving the ball around, trying to find some cutting avenues to try to get involved in the offense. So again, there's not a lot of possessions for Keldon to kind of have the ball in his hands and try to attack the defense like he likes to do. So I think that if he's made progress with his outside shot, his 3-point shot, then he has a chance. And so let's just say that Keldon's 3-point shot has improved. Then that opens the question of, okay, well then who's that fifth starter who's going to go to the bench? And I think that's where the conversation turns to. It's either going to be one of Jeremy Sohan or Harrison Barnes. And, just looking at, there's different arguments for both players. We know that offensively, Barnes is going to offer you a little bit more. He can definitely shoot a lot better from the outside. He's a steady defender out there, consistent out there. He also can attack as a second or third playmaking option kind of situation, mainly on drives, as I've discussed here on the Spotted Pod. Whereas Sohan, we know that offensively, he's not going to give you as much on the team, but he's going to give you a lot more defensively, where he's a versatile defender, can guard different positions, switch on different possessions and things like that. So I think that's where there's a give and take there of whether, the Spurs would want to go with either Barnes for more outside shooting or Sohan for more defensive, making more of a defensive impact. So I think that's where that conversation would come down to. But I think overall, I'm still sticking with the option of Keldon's coming off the bench, just because for him, for his playmaking on offense, it just gives him a better chance to be that sixth man, that one of those go-to players off the bench. He would get more opportunity to attack and try to get to the free throw line, especially if his shot's not quite as developed as maybe the Spurs are hoping going into this next season. So again, I think there is a chance for him to start, yes, but just giving my opinion of where I think the best opportunity for him to thrive at is probably still coming off the bench. So again, we'll kind of see what happens in training camp and preseason. But thank you again for sending in that question.